Hey everybody, I'm Jaree,
I'm Kyle.
and today we're going to be going over the language across the curriculum method. And this is going to be in a sixth grade classroom for math.
Absolutely.
Now, you might be thinking of what is language across the curriculum, also known as LAC. Well, LAC is a method in schools and in college courses that allows students to learn and study a foreign language. It also allows students to apply their existing knowledge of a foreign language outside of normal language. Now, how do you use it, you might add? Well, you will integrate language with the content being learned in order to build context between the language, symbols, and the subject matter that you teach.
So this instructional strategy clearly has a lot of pros. So I'm going to talk about a few of them right now. It's really versatile. You can use it in a ton of different settings and everything. So first of all, it's really great for helping EL students improve their communication skills in their second language. They're able to build more connections and see, like gain more context by using this strategy. It also helps students learn the content and expand their knowledge more, like elaborate more on their knowledge. It really helps when they build these contextual connections. It builds a stronger foundation on what you can build your knowledge up more. Furthermore, knowing another language also helps students to discuss issues in that second language, right? So that's another really big important thing that we want our English learners to be able to do, is to discuss issues and share their feelings and everything. So this strategy helps a lot with that. It also helps students to collect different technical terms related to different subjects. So like you'll see in our demonstration, there are certain terms that are specific to certain subjects that this strategy can really help EL students to understand. Furthermore, if somebody is good in another language, then it also opens career opportunities for those students as well. Another benefit is students can get admission to foreign universities as well, if they are able to develop their skills in in learning sort of language across different curriculums, right? This will also build student study skills as well. So they can pick up skills on how to figure things out that might be in a different language or their second language that they're acquiring. This will teach them another skill to, find their way through that process. This is also a really great way, actually, reflectively, to help a teacher improve their skills in a different language as well. Like you'll see in our demonstration, as Jaree starts to teach me, he will also start to pick up on certain things that I am using to build context from my culture, right? And let's see. Yeah, it's just, it also, lastly, it gives teachers a chance to give really clear instructions to students that require it. It just sort of naturally lends itself to building clarity.
Now I'm going to talk about the cons of this approach. So there's not too many cons, which is great. So this can definitely be used like all over the place, like we said, in every single subject matter with a lot of benefits. But the cons would be, one, basic and fundamental difficulty is with the teacher's attitude, because sometimes they do not want to be language teachers. So say, for instance, if you're teaching math, you might have a math teacher that really doesn't want to get down into the nitty gritty of vocabulary, because they think that everybody should probably have a certain amount of knowledge by sixth grade or higher. So they would just not care to be able to go over the vocabulary because they think it has already been taught. Second con would be, in schools, there is no central responsibility for such cross-curricular approach except the principal. And this kind of structural weakness can be seen in schools, colleges, and higher education also. And then lastly, introducing LAC requires a fundamental change in attitudes and mentality of teachers. So not all teachers are going to be willing to reinvent the wheel. So say if they've been teaching for like 15, 20 years, they're pretty much stuck in their ways. And so instead of learning a new concept, they probably just want to retire. and give up, or might just say no and then have to switch schools because the administration doesn't think that they are being flexible enough to learn a new concept. And especially for a 21st century learner nowadays, you might have to tweak certain things that you've been doing for the last 15 to 20 years because it might not work.
Well said. Okay, so now we're going to move into our demonstration of this instructional strategy. I will be the student. I'll be an English language learner in
I'm going to be the teacher.
Mr. Redmond's 6th grade math class. All right.
I think I dressed up pretty nice for this.
I'll say.
Now, our first one, Kyle, do you know what this plus sign is?
That means like when you add something.
Perfect, it is. So what you're going to do, and anytime you see the word sum in the problem, you're going to think addition.
Okay, so sum just means adding.
Adding. So you're going to take the sum of all parts. You might heard of that saying too,
Yeah.
but you're going to be adding things together.
Okay, and it goes with this symbol.
And it goes with that plus positive,
Got it.
the
With the
positive
plus
plus
sign.
symbol.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense.
And then on here on the right,
Mhm.
do you recognize this X?
Yeah, when we're doing multiplication, that right?
Yeah, multiplication indeed. So you might see it in the equation, and we're going to associate this word product
Mhm.
with this multiplication sign. So anytime you see in a question that they say, what is the product of 3 and 8? You're going to think, well, I need to multiply 3 times 8.
So product just means you're multiplying, just like with the X.
Multiplying,
Okay,
multiplication.
that makes sense.
Awesome.
Okay.
Ooh, toughie.
Uh-oh.
Do you know what a column is by chance?
No.
You know, when you come into the school, you know those big rectangular objects,
The tall ones?
tall ones, like
Yeah.
right above the steps.
Mhm.
Those are columns.
Oh, they kind of look like that.
Kind of look like what we have right here in this bar graph, right? Or histograph, depending on who you talk to.
Uh-huh.
But in this bar graph right here, we have different shapes and sizes of columns, but they're all going to be representing a numerical value. So
Okay.
on the orange one or yellow one right here, what do you think that one's going to stand for? What number does it look like it goes up to?
9.
9. Perfect. So that column's going to be
Okay.
worth 9. And how about this pink one? Light pink.
7.
7. Perfect. So yes, you're going to see a lot of columns in bar graphs because they're going to be showing you a numerical value based on whatever we have labeled here on the bottom x-axis. So say, for instance, if it was distance, we will have distance of 7 for number of people maybe on here on the left. So we're saying like maybe 7 people went a certain amount of distance.
That makes sense. Okay.
Now here on the right,
Mhm.
we have the word table.
Mhm.
Now, when I say the word table, what comes to your mind?
Like this table that we're sitting at.
Technically, you're right. But in the mathematical sense, we're actually going to be looking at this table to see that we list items here on the left, and those items on the left are going to correspond with the value right next to it. So for instance, we have a word pen. So like the pen that I'm writing with right now,
Uh-huh.
that is going to be corresponding to 5 inches because it's saying that my pen that I have in my hand is measured up to 5 inches.
So this thing right here, this is a table.
That is a table.
Okay.
And like I said, we're just going to kind of group things. So right here on the left, we have materials. So say, for instance, every material that you might use in this classroom is a pen, eraser, crayon, and a notebook.
Mhm.
And then on the right, we have the units, and the units are describing how long it is.
Mhm.
So a table that you will see would just kind of categorize certain items with a value.
Okay, that makes sense. Oh, sorry. I don't know what happened there, guys. Hold on one second. Okay, we're back.
Now, we have the letters X, A, and Y. Now, have you recently seen these on any of our homeworks?
Yeah. These were the things in the equations.
They were, and they are called variables. So
What does that mean?
variables are going to be a representation of a value, but we may not know it yet, or sometimes it's given to us. So say if a problem tells us that X is equal to 5,
Oh, we just plug the number in.
we plug the number in for the variable. So
Oh,
anytime you see an X in a problem,
Mhm.
you would put a 5 in for the X.
Okay, that makes sense. That's kind of like what's that one theory that we learned?
Substitution method.
Right.
Yeah, substitution method. So we're literally going to substitute whatever value the problem gives us, or that we figure out based on some pre-algebra problems that we have been doing. And we're going to have a variable take the place of a number. And then sometimes we're going to have to substitute that number back in for the variable.
Okay. So a variable is X, A, Y. Could
Literally
it also be Z?
anywhere from A to Z. You choose
Okay.
whatever you want.
Okay, it doesn't. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Got
So all variables are pretty much letters A through Z.
Got it. Okay.
Now on the right here, do you recognize this symbol?
Yeah, that's the thing that's next to my grade.
Yes, it is next to your grade. That means percent. So
Mm-hmm.
normally percents are always out of 100.
Uh-huh.
So like your grade, which is like, I believe a 92, which is very high, my ad.
Thank you.
It's going to be 92 out of 100. So if you see 92 out of 100, it's going to be a 92%.
I get it. And that's, you put that symbol at the end to just say that that is a percent.
And it's out of 100.
Got it. Thank you, Mr. Redmond.
You're welcome.
Much appreciated.